Roll call, Ms. Marshall.
Mrs. Denny?
Here.
Mrs. Essler?
Here.
Ms. Hilferty?
Here.
Mrs. Jones?
Here.
Mrs. Powell?
Here.
Mr. Seesaw?
Here.
Mrs. Stone?
Here.
Mr. Tinsley?
Here.
Mr. Arndt?
Here. Number 2 is the approval of minutes. Motion is to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 23rd, 2019. Do I have this motion?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 2.02 is the invoice listing. Motion is to approve the invoice listing for January through February 2019. Do I have this motion?
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 2.03 is the Treasury Report. Ms. Powell.
As of December 31st, 2018, PennDOT's balance was $45,307,289. During January 2019, local, state, federal revenues totaled $1,315,617. Disbursements were issued in the amount of $4,306,678. As of January 31st, 2019, PennDOT's current balance is $42,316,228. The motion is to approve this, the Treasurer's Report from January 2019. Do I have this motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 3 is Superintendent's exercise.
Thank you, Mr. Armour. We were short. We're going to have either of our student reps here tonight, but I'm happy to see Kara here. And I see that you have your notepad in your hand, your electronic notepad. So let me yield some time to our student reps to hear about great things that are happening in Sun Valley. Kara.
All the classes in Sun Valley have moved out of the mods and are in new classrooms, which look really good. Sun Valley had a successful parent-teacher conference night on February 7th, and over 200 conferences were held. The unified bocce team, the blue team got 3rd place in their bracket, and the gold team won the county. And they're going to be returning to the state championships at Hershey. The boys basketball game tonight, they won their game against Potts Grove for the Final Four, so they're going to be playing on Saturday at 2 o'clock at Temple University for the championship, I think. The girls swimming is sending a relay team to districts on Friday to LaSalle University. Wrestler Hunter Katka won gold at the district tournament. He now wrestles at regional tournament this weekend for the chance to return to state and defend his gold medal. The ice hockey team earned a number 16 seed in the Flyers Cup High School tournament, and they'll face the number 1 seed Westchester Ruston on March 5th. Students are scheduling classes this week and last week for the 2019-2020 school year. They're meeting with their counselors and they're helping to develop the master schedule. The SB teachers were encouraged to participate in the Digital Learning Day tomorrow to highlight instructional technology. Junior Bryson Eldridge won the High School Leadership Award from Widener University in NBC 10. The SB musical Pippin debuts on March 14th and will run on the 15th and also the 16th. And the SB administration rolled out the Safe to Say Something program with the support of Central Administration and Officer Boyle. And last but not least, the volleyball marathon was very successful and raised over $7,500 for local charities.
Great, thank you, Carrie. You stole some of my thunder here tonight, but I'll reiterate some of it. I want to say good evening to everybody. Thank you for your interest in Pendelco and in attending tonight's board meeting. Due to the winter storm last week, we were unable to meet for our monthly study session. But the board has been briefed by email or an executive session on agenda items and other matters on the agenda this evening. Before I touch base on a few items on that agenda, I do feel it's worthwhile to pause and look back at the last week in Pendelco to see how some wonderful events and activities continue to fall in place, and Kira mentioned a few of them already. Last week was the first full week with our renovated classrooms in function at the high school. That project, including the temporary use of the modular classrooms, which for some students was a little popular while they were using them, really frankly exceeded our expectations in terms of the potential disruption to the school year. And I want to thank and credit Mr. Brian Dottie, our Director of Facilities, his team, and also Mr. Sassy and his support and teaching staff for doing all that they could do to minimize the effect of the renovation on learning. The rooms, particularly the halls, the labs, they're bright, they are so vastly improved, and we continue to get closer to the goal of having a high school renovation project complete so that our students and staff can work and learn in a facility that reflects the pride that they deserve to have in the work that they do. On Thursday, it was my pleasure to see the middle school production of Fiddler on the Roof. Once again, you would be really hard impressed to believe that that was a show put on by 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. It was much more like a high school event. Play director Karen and quite a number of parent volunteers have literally spent months working with the student performers, and the end result was absolutely worth the effort. And compliments, Georgia, to your daughter. Came out of her shell. She was very respectful and quiet, given I see her in the hall, but she did phenomenal in her performance that day. Great singing event. Later that night, Sun Valley boys basketball team, as you heard, won their playoff game against Phoenixville, leading to still another game against the highly ranked team from Unionville. But Sun Valleyville moved ahead and had a very solid win, leading towards, as we just learned, a win tonight. They'll be playing at Temple on Saturday for, again, another great event, leading towards a first in Sun Valley history for the basketball team, and we know they're going to continue to move in that direction. These guys show that the small school of committed students can compete in our league. They can continue to do well. It's a great job coaching by Coach Maloney again this year to him. Very impressive. Friday evening, our administrators and many of the teaching staff volunteered their overnight hours to host the Sun Valley Volleyball Marathon, which is sponsored by the National Honor Society. Congratulations to the students. As Karen mentioned, raised over close to $7,500 for charity, but also conducted themselves extremely well for a wonderful school community event. On top of all that, the next day, we learned that Northley's own Phoebe Smith won her third Delaware County Spelling Bee Championship, which is beyond incredible. On that note, I believe that it has been a Northley student who has won the Delaware County Spelling Bee, I believe, 7 or 8 times out of the last 12 years. And that doesn't happen unless you have a district that makes literacy and writing a top priority. We talk about straight A's, academics, athletics, the arts, activities, and last weekend was kind of tangible proof that the district continues to hit on all parts of these for the good of our students in multiple ways. As we're heading into the spring season, we expect our track at the stadium field to be open for public use sometime in the next couple of weeks. We're glad to be able to open that up again to the public so that they can use the track for exercise and for running and jogging as it's been used in the past. We're thrilled to open up the renovated varsity softball field and buggy field as well for our boys baseball team. That has been completely renovated as well with far improved drainage systems, which will be ideal for the community leagues. Now is the time we're working on staffing and programs for next school year. Happy to note that we appear to be on good footing to move forward with the implementation of a Project Lead the Way computer science pathway at the high school. Some of our administrators are working hard to get this in place in time for next year. That will include training for select teachers over the summertime. We look forward to offering a 4-course pathway: Computer Science Essentials first year, Computer Science Programming the second year, AP Computer Science AB for AP credit, and then in the 4th year, Cybersecurity, as offerings that will expand by 1 course each year to meet the growing number of students interested in this field of study. We will also investigate Project Lead the Way Engineering and Allied Health pathways as well. We look forward to discussing those other options more in depth with the board in future months. Finally, I would note there's some promise in Harrisburg to ultimately see cyber charter tuition reform. Several academic studies have reported that a district like Pendelco could stand to save over $400,000 in cyber tuition costs if the state approved the formula based on actual costs, not cost plus exorbitant profits, particularly when we offer our own cyber learning program and cyber options in Pendelco. I will be reaching out to our supportive legislators with my thoughts on legislation like this, and will offer details to substantiate the need for changes. On Friday, a number of our elementary teachers will be adding Dr. Seuss Read Across America activities into their classrooms. I want to thank them for keeping the true joy of reading alive and well in our schools. Again, really great work at the high school with respect to preparations for the renovation. We had a great meeting today talking about the new auditorium and the 3rd and final phases at the high school. Also want the board to be aware of how impressed I was and how grateful I was by our staff efforts at the most recent Staff In-Service Day. That was our Instructional Excellence Fair. We had 66 teachers present over 30 different topical sessions. What was most appealing to me, though, was hearing teachers say, I got so much out of hearing from my colleague, hearing from that teacher in another building. Great ideas. Folks that weekend retweeting some of the ideas that they heard and sharing them and going back in their classrooms the next week and trying them out. That only works if the teachers step up to the plate and volunteer their own expertise. And it has typically become, one of my special days, one of my favorite days each year in the school year. We're looking forward to the 4th Instructional Excellence Conference next February in 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Steinhoff. Announcements for the public. In accordance with Act 48, the board met in executive session this evening to discuss litigation and personnel matters. Comments by members of the board?
Dr. Shine, I do just want to express my thanks to Mr. Sassy and yourself, your tech team, on that tech ed introduction that we got an email about earlier. I didn't mention it earlier. So I'm excited that our students will have that opportunity at Sun Valley. So thank you for your work on that.
Sure. We've been trying to find ways to kind of build STEM pathways as we can for students who have that interest. And we've identified a teacher who was interested in taking the additional training during the summer months so that we can deliver the computer program essentials year 1. And the goal will be to add a 2nd and a 3rd and a 4th year in successive years. So Mr. Sassy believes that we will initially offer this to the full school and see what type of interest is there. If we have to target it to incoming 9th graders and build a pathway as they approach their senior year, we'll do that. So Project Lead the Way was an opportunity for us to essentially kind of purchase and adopt a proven curriculum rather than taking a chance and trying to kind of build a plane while we're flying it. We knew we had something that's best practice proven that we could put in place as soon as we have a staff member certified to deliver that training. And he's identified certainly at least one individual that wants to step up and will be excited to deliver that class. So we're excited about it. Thank you.
Items for board information. Please note that school board policies for the first reading for adoption and review of the revised policy is tonight for school board policy number 222, 239, 247, and 255.
And I also note that on all of these policies, the administration is recommending that we bring these back for another first reading discussion at our study session, particularly 222, which expands tobacco and nicotine to address issues of vaping and juuling. I think there's an opportunity to have some more discussion on these and some clarity. So I would look forward to the opportunity to bring back for another reading at our study session prior to a second reading adoption.
Thank you, Dr. Steinhoff. Number 7, public comments. Anyone? Please let us know. Number 8 is items for board review. Starts on page 8. Number 8 starts on page 2, carries through page 3, 4, 5, 6, and ends at the bottom of page 7. This references the Pendelco Budget 2018-2019, Act 93 plans, PDEA agreement, PDESPA agreement, PDSSPA agreement, and the PA School Code Section 1108B. It is the administrative recommendation to approve all personnel items as presented. Please note that I will be abstaining from the vote on this matter. Do I have discussion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Questions, comments? Motion passes. Tonight, the board has decided to utilize the consent agenda to approve items 8.03 through 8.14. Please note that 8.14 is an addition to approve the final payment for the Sun Valley Kitchen / cafeteria renovation to ARCO Board of Abroad of Norristown, Pennsylvania in the amount of $90,688.24, brings the total amount paid to $1.583,407.71. Questions or comments? Do I have this motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Comments by members of the public? Members of the board?
I just want to address 813.
Please do.
We have Mr. Eric Zebley in attendance tonight. It was my pleasure to present Eric to the board for an employment agreement as our business administrator. Eric has been a very and highly effective assistant business administrator to Tracy Marshall for about the past 6 years. His good success story out of Sun Valley as a graduate, has done phenomenal work for us in his capacity. I am very pleased to have him on the agenda to recommend him to replace Tracy, who will be retiring at the end of this year. But I was thrilled that he had the right person kind of right down the hallway, and I'm happy that he's here tonight. And I was pleased to present him for consideration to the board, and happy to have him as part of our team.
Thank you, Dr. Steinhoff. Mr. Zebley, welcome to the team. You haven't been here before, but welcome to a different part of the team. We look forward to having you in our meetings start next month.
Thank you, Craig. It's up to the board, but certainly in July.
Future meetings. Next meeting is Wednesday, March 20th. It's our study session here at the Service Center. March 27th will be our business meeting here at the Service Center. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.